In today's episode, we're going to be going over some of the strangest and craziest videos that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
The cult of the Black Cube, better known as the Saturn Death Cult. The global elite worships the dark side of the planet Saturn and uses occult symbols in modern institutions, and it's been going on since creation. Basically started with the fallen angels, and it all revolves around the god Saturn. But this god Saturn is also the god Baal, the god Molech,
Oh gosh.
and is prevalent in basically every ancient and modern satanic.
Saturn is Satan.
They think it translates from Satan, the astrology Capricorn, which is the primary thing, and that is Saturn, which is a goat. The black cube, I'm like, where's the black cube coming into this? There's like this dark spot on the top of Saturn that is in the shape of a hexagon. And if you take the hexagon and you make it a three-dimensional, it makes a cube. What was crazy is that if you go to basically any major financial district, they all have a monument of a black cube.
No way.
They believe that worship of it is that they're able to tap into this realm or this deity to be able to enslave the masses.
A theory that comes to mind when I hear about the Black Cube cult, instead of it necessarily being something about Satan, what if that is just sacred geometry and it helps unlock certain manifestations? What if it is ancient geometry or sacred geometry and the big wigs or the people on top don't want you to know that, so that they spread rumors around saying that it's bad? It's an interesting theory to think about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
A lot of these artifacts that we have across various cultures, and Pakal's tomb I think is a really interesting one to highlight. One, because his tomb is built literally underneath the pyramid. This slab is so large, there's no way that they could have built the pyramid and then brought it underneath there. So his tomb was literally constructed and a pyramid was placed on top of it. The sarcophagus lid, very clearly depicts, you can just Google Pakal with a P and then a K, Pakal, and you see what looks like him seated upright, and he's he's holding levers and gears. He's got a nose apparatus. He's seated in a vertical position, just like our astronauts when they're in a rocket ship. You literally see depictions of what look like flames coming out the bottom. So that depiction of Pakal is very interesting, again, when we look across cultures. And you see that the Sumerians had even a word for something called the Shem, detach and come down to the surface. It looks like a landing capsule, like we use the same thing, the parachute opens and it comes. It literally looks like the same thing.
That's actually not a bad idea. The way I live, I should actually build a tomb for myself under my house. There's nowhere I'd rather be other than my home. There's everything that I've ever wanted there. So for it to be my final resting place literally under my house, I don't mind that.
Okay, what I'm going to share with you guys is what we know to be real and true. And when I tell you this, I urge you to not restrict your thinking to technology. We've been collecting UAP data for more than 5 years with electromechanical signaling. We call this our dog whistle. What the technology is classified. Generally speaking, we see 3 to 5 different classifications of UAP per day during operations. To make sense of our data, we had to develop a lexicon, and we base it off of flight characteristics. Again, there are 9 different flights or classes, and some of these UAPs may be the same type of UAP under different flight configurations. But at this point, given their behavior, we are confident that they do not align with your typical extraterrestrial explanation. Again, each UAP has different characteristics. Some tumble, some spin, some flicker, some just look like a living being flying in the sky. UAPs are extremely hard to image. What is seen with the naked eye generally is not what is seen under camera, and we do not know why. Class 1 is the tetra. It usually spins, it tumbles, it looks like a black body. Sometimes it flickers multiple times per second. It appears to have a cloud or vapor around it. We've seen class 1s in formations up to 20 to 23 in a flock or formation. Classification 2 is known as a tic-tac, but I feel like I should go through classifications 2 through 9 in another video, so there will be a part 2.
I looked for the part 2 for this. I could not find it, even in the comments to this video, because I'm pretty certain it's a repost. This video is by Nightmare Fuel. And in the comments, it says, I'm gonna need a part 2. And the creator said that he's looking for the video and that this one was sent in to him by someone that he knows. And actually reading into the comment a little bit further, he said that he reached out to the creator of this video and asked her for a follow-up. So maybe there will be one soon. It seems pretty genuine, but I'm not someone that's really good at reading body language or telling if someone's lying. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.
In the 1990s, a German historian named Herbert Illig proposed a theory that shook the foundation of everything we thought we knew about the past. He called it the phantom time hypothesis. According to Illig, nearly 300 years of history from around 614 to 911 AD were completely fabricated. He claimed that rulers during the Middle Ages, specifically Holy Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II, conspired to rewrite the calendar, pushing the year forward to 1000 AD for political and religious reasons. They wanted to rule during what they considered a holy and symbolic millennium, so they altered documents, forged historical records, and inserted entire rulers and events that never actually happened. According to this theory, the early Middle Ages, the so-called Dark Ages, were dark because they didn't happen. Illig pointed to strange inconsistencies in archaeology, missing architecture, and gaps in historical records. Even astronomical data like recorded eclipses didn't seem to line up. Skeptics were quick to dismiss it. We trust history because it's been passed down. But what if some of that history was never real to begin with? What if the year isn't 2025 but 1728? What do you believe?
When it comes to altered time or phantom time in this case, I kinda could believe something like that happening. I mean, unless we were actually there to witness it, we really don't know. It is an interesting theory, but if they've altered time and history, what else have they altered?
In a world first, scientists have unlocked a new sense for computers: scent. Robots now know how to smell. Essentially, the teleportation of scent. We've already successfully digitized our senses of sight and sound by turning what we see into digital form, like JPEGs, what we hear into MP3s, and putting it all together into videos, like this one right here. Capturing our real-life visual and auditory senses and turning them into ones and zeros that computers can understand. That's what it means to digitize something. Big surprise, I'm not actually inside of your phone, but I've digitized an audio-visual representation of myself so that I can, in essence, teleport my appearance and my voice to devices like yours around the world. Osmo Labs adds a whole new dimension to how we communicate and interact with anything online by adding our sense of smell into the mix. The researchers took purple peaches, also known as a plum, mashed it up and captured its scent molecules inside of a vial. A machine then sucked the air out of this vial and used AI to analyze those molecules and map out its scent profile on a molecular level. Using this blueprint, they can print this scent anywhere in the world as a clear liquid that smells exactly like a plum. Officially giving computers a new sense and allowing us to teleport smells on top of images, video, and audio over the internet. And I think we can all see how things are going to end up when we can start smelling our messages in the group chat. Other than that, there are still some pretty mind-blowing applications for this. We'd be able to digitally store a library of our favorite scents that we can access at any time. The luxury fragrance industry would likely go out of business, as we'd be able to perfectly clone every designer cologne and perfume that exists. Virtual reality would add an extra level of immersion into their worlds, bringing us one step closer to perfect simulations and fulfilling simulation theory. And above all, computers will now have a new sense that they're able to experience, letting us know how good or bad we smell, and combined with generative AI, we may even be able to create our very own sense from scratch with a couple of text prompts.
That's kinda mind-blowing to me. Now, that's gonna be quite a ways away from now, but the simple fact that they're collecting the data for it and being able to use AI to collect it, that's pretty impressive. Hopefully in the future it gets heavily regulated, because I could imagine going into like a VR chat world and there's probably some really unpleasant smells there. And it would be kind of nice to have a robot or some kind of device that's not necessarily a person that has to go through maybe a stinky situation to say, yeah, you need to put some deodorant on, or here's what you could do to make you smell your best. Let me know what you guys think about this. This is some pretty crazy stuff.
People have just found out about this and are going crazy. Part 2. Why one day when you're a child do you just suddenly gain consciousness like, I'm alive? This is actually insane, but extremely trippy, so stick with me. So of course, you don't just miraculously gain consciousness at around the age of 4 or 5, that's not how it happens. But for the first couple of years when you're born, you don't have any memories or anything going on really, you're just kind of living on autopilot. As your memories and feelings and emotions start to come together, you get a grip on reality and think, what's going on here? You start to evolve over time, and that's why you can normally remember things from an older age, but not really before. Where it gets crazy though is when time and age comes into play with it. So I said this is confusing, stick with me. Because 40% of your life happens before you are 5 years old. So your life really does get faster as you age. Like, this is 100% true. In fact, by the time you're 21, you've already had 60 to 70% of your life. Like, the rest of it is going to feel shorter than since you were a baby. That's because your mind is processing much more memories and feeling and emotion now, instead of being on that kind of autopilot mode where everything feels slow. Like, a year to us now probably feels how long the summer holidays felt when you were like 10 years old. Absolutely crazy, but it is true. Don't forget to hit that follow button, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is mom and pop grocery stores don't get this break. When they make bad financial decisions, they go out of business. But the rich and famous Wall Street, New York City fat cats expect Joe's six-pack to buck it up and pay for all this nonsense.
We were told they're too big to fail. We could lose our homes. The economy could collapse. We have to bail out the banks, insurance companies, big car manufacturers.
It's a global financial crisis, so please take our money, raise our taxes, raise them!
And they did. And those companies were saved. And wealthy executives got even wealthier. Bear with me for a second. Our taxes funded these bonuses. James Gorman of Morgan Stanley got a $4.9 million bonus. John Stump, Wells Fargo, almost $6 million. Lloyd Blankfein, Goldman Sachs, $9 million. John Thane, Merrill Lynch, $15 million bonus. Kenneth Chenault, American Express, almost $19 million. Vikram Pandit, Citigroup, $24 million. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan Chase, $29 million. Robert Kelly, Bank of New York Mellon, $35 million. Lawrence M. Small, Fannie Mae, almost $43 million. While regular people lost their homes, savings, and retirement accounts, Citigroup cut Andrew Hall a bonus check for $100 million. I just read you the top 10 list. In total, about $20 billion was paid to bankers as bonuses after the bailout. Every executive and politician involved in that crisis should have gone to prison. Instead, they bought more homes, yachts, and private planes. And we paid for it.
The following video was captured by a man named Jimmy from New Zealand. And he captured this weird looking creature in the creek. I don't know if it's a mix of a dolphin, eel, snake. This is so freaky weird. And the rest of the world wants to know what it is. So my people from New Zealand, if you've seen this before, know what it is, please let the rest of us know. Take a look at this footage, comment below, and tell me what you think this could be.
I really don't know what that is. To me, maybe it's an eel, but I can't tell. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I mean, I could be whatever these guys are saying in the comments of this video, but there's some people saying that it's a baby dolphin. Some people are saying that it's a large tadpole and a scorpion. I don't think I can rely on these comments. So if you have anything serious, let me know, please.
The Tremont Temple? Do you see the size of this thing? Look at that symbolism up there, buddy. Oh, wow! And look at the brickwork in that. Look at the brickwork, and it goes way up. Look at all of that. Look at all the deity symbolization up there. That is wild. Look at this balcony. Look at that. That is wild. Look how beautiful that is. That ornate brickwork all through here. And you see, I mean, you can see, look at more seashells, all sorts of stuff. This all pays homage to Greek and Roman deities. And I don't even know what's all the way up there.
I'm truly not sure if this is a satire account or not. They sound serious, but it sounds sarcastic in a way. Now, to me, the building is interesting looking, but do I think it's a giant Nephilim temple? Not really. It is interesting and the brickwork is cool, but what do you guys think?
Want to hear a cryptid story?
I would love to hear a cryptid story.
The more research I do, the more identical they are. So again, we have 2 hunters who are out in South Carolina. These are avid woodsmen. They're camping, they're sitting at the fire, and as they're winding down, they begin to hear what sounds like drumming. Something's like with force hitting something. They start to get up, and before they see anything, like every other story, they smell something. Just
Bigfoot.
It's like swamp and rotting flesh. They use the descriptor copper, kind of like a blood-like copper-like smell. They put a flashlight up and immediately glowing eyes, tall humanoid creature, long arms to the ground, and they freeze in fear. And the thing like postures up, dude pulls his gun, fires a shot, hits it, and it lets out the loudest roar they've ever heard. After getting hit, it doesn't stop. It keeps running at them. And they get in the truck, and the proof that they have is the tailgate of this truck has claw marks through the back of it, but instead of just being like punched, it looks like tinfoil that's been peeled back.
Oh my gosh.
But this thing with glowing red eyes and the brake lights chased them for a quarter mile before giving up the pursuit. A quarter mile, this thing's roaring and running them down a hill. They've never gone back to the woods. This was in 1987. They've never been back.
I mean, that's like the Mothman, just like it chasing them for miles.
In that region of South Carolina, there's like legends of a lizard man, and it fits exactly with other stories where people have reported similar things. It's terrifying, dude.
Cave systems in the mountains. I guarantee that's where they're all coming from.
My thing with these stories is all of these creatures always have the glowing red eyes. That is a pretty common occurrence, it seems. And I mean, who's to say a really fun theory to think about is because their eyes are glowing, maybe they're machine. Maybe they are coming out from the mountains or from Hollow Earth, and they're just extremely advanced, scary looking machines. Maybe they're just made to scare people away from very protected areas. That's a pretty fun thought.
Alright, this was released yesterday. These are the UFOs that Jake Barber and his team at Skywatch were filming. These are the people that are saying that they're using psionic capabilities, like telepathic capabilities, to summon these crafts. And this is the first time that they're releasing any video from it. People have been waiting on it since he announced it back in maybe, I don't know, last couple months. But you can see they're making impossible movements, disappearing and reappearing. And you can see this one's called the Class 8 Hornet. And yeah, so people are like disappointed. They're saying it's too grainy, you can't tell what it is. This is their first time releasing the video, so there's more to come. They're still doing their job. They are actually summoning these things. But yeah, just wanted you guys to check it out. It was just released yesterday. Somebody mentioned they wish they knew where these were filmed at. I agree, I wish so too, but here it is.
I find that really hard to believe, being some kind of UFO or UAP. That to me looks like 2 heart-shaped balloons tied together, and they're just like twining around with each other in the sky. At least that's what my eyes see. It is very grainy and blurry like you said, but it looks like 2 heart-shaped balloons just playing with each other in the sky.
And that brings us to another theory about parallel universes, that there are infinite copies of our reality everywhere, but they don't exist in the far reaches of space, and they don't exist in cosmic bubbles floating around infinity. The parallel universes are here, all around us, right now. They occupy the same space we do, we just can't see them. This theory is known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and this may turn out to be more than a theory. It could be reality. Buckle up. Even if the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics sounds like sciencey gobbledygook, you're probably still familiar with the idea of the multiverse. Multiverse theories involve the concept that our reality splits into different branches based on different outcomes to various events. The TV shows Star Trek, Fringe, and Counterpart all have plot lines about a mirror universe, which is very similar to our own with slight changes.
That was right. Those are our...
Hi, Howard. Well, this is disappointing.
There's an infinite number of universes, and in each of them, there is a version of us.
The show Rick and Morty is built entirely around the concept that there's not just a single parallel universe, there are infinite universes.
Look at this photo that was taken in Germany yesterday, you guys. I don't know what's going on, but this guy said it was a real photo. This is unedited and everything. But look at these weird anomalies that's popping out of this photo, y'all. What is going on here? It looks like there's like some type of energetic exchange happening here with the sun. And looking at this picture, I'm looking at so many things here. Like I see a sphere right over here. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Y'all see that? It's like a transparent version of it. And there's another huge sphere down over here. He said this thing was sitting over the horizon. Y'all can clearly see that right there. Look at that. It looks like a huge version of this thing over here. And then y'all see this. And then I always point this thing out behind the sun to y'all. But look at this. It looks like the sun has wings. Do y'all see that? Look at that. Those look like huge wings. The sun looks like it's got some crazy aura around it. I see blue over here, purple over here, and then this whole energetic exchange going on over here. This is crazy. But yes, y'all, this was taken yesterday in Germany, and you see they're trying to, obfuscate it. Y'all see that over here. There's a lot of things happening in the sky, y'all, just throughout the whole world, period. And to me, this right over here looks like a portal. Like it's a gateway getting ready to open. Am I tripping? Do y'all see that too? Look at that. It looks like the Dragon Ball Z Saiyan ships, like the little pods that they come into Earth with. But what else do y'all see here? Let me know down in the comments below. The shift is here, y'all. Let's get it. Peace out.
I had to add one of his videos in. It's been a while. It just ran across my feed. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this in here because it's pretty entertaining. It is to me, at least. I'm sure a lot of people probably skipped it. But anyone in Germany, did you guys see anything crazy like that?
They got her, man. They got her. You have any idea who this is right here? I bet you don't. So real quick, man, look, a lot of people are saying that's not even the same person now. I'm not saying that or alleging that. I'm just saying she does look a little bit different. I'd say it's a little more than just her eyebrow changed. Look at the jaw. I mean, look right here, man. What I want to know is who's doing all this, and why is it that whenever they become famous, man, usually their hair goes like super blonde, which hers skip that, I guess, but they make this drastic change to their appearance, man. I can never ever figure that out. Like this really does not even look like her, man. Not even remotely close to looking like her. I mean, maybe like her sister or something. Several photo shoots is what always happens. Then they'll do like a lot of photo shoots of just, wearing crazy outfits like this right here. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're just totally different. Excuse me. Because this right here is what she used to look like, man. And she does not look anything like that now. So if anybody's got any information pertaining to why this is, please let me know ASAP.
People are just finding out why they should not be making their bed when they first wake up. I'm sure since you were young, your parents have told you the first thing you need to do when you wake up is make your bed. But actually, that's one of the worst things you could do. When you've slept in bed all night, obviously it's not the most clean place in the world by the morning, as your bed is now pretty much infected with a load of bacteria that you've sweated off in the night and bits of your skin, blah blah blah. Now what this does is attract these little guys called dust mites, who, yeah, there's probably millions of these living in your bed right now. Now they like the warm, dark, sweaty places, So when you first get out of bed in the morning, that's when they're gonna come crawling. If you make your bed when you first spring out of bed, you're basically trapping them in there because it's dark and it's a perfect place for them to live, meaning your bed's going to be far worse when you go back tonight. Good luck. But the best thing you can do is actually leave your bed messy for a little while, because this is going to expose the under areas of the bed to sunlight, warmth, and basically air it out a bit, meaning these things die and it is actually cleaner. So you can then go back after an hour or so, make your bed, and it's going to be a lot better than if you did it when you first woke up.
I don't know if that really is a rocket or what it is. It looks like a rocket, but it also looks like there's graffiti on it. So it would have been really cool for him to actually go down there and look at it a little bit further. Safely, that is. I mean, hopefully that's not illegal, but it probably is. Let me know though, what do you guys think that was? Was that a rocket of some sort?
They said telepathy is just the tip of the iceberg. It goes way deeper. I've been really getting back into the telepathy tapes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's blowing my absolute mind.
Tell me about it.
There's this one boy, Houston. His story is just insane. Like, grew up severely autistic, non-speaking, non-verbal, and she just grew up thinking that he was basically just almost like a vegetable. She like came home one day, her son walked downstairs, looked her straight in the eyes, which she said never made eye contact ever, and said, "I love you."
Verbally.
And
Oh
she's
my
never
goodness.
spoken in his life. Through that was the beginning, figuring out that he could read people's minds. He could see what they were thinking. It starts with him talking about this place. He says that he goes to this place with other kids, other people that have this ability of telepathy. They call it the Hill. And he says, we meet there, we teach each other things, we pray for each other. And it's like this community of kids that have this ability. They go to the Hill. It's not like a physical place. It's like not dimensional. It's like a place where their consciousness goes. And they said, but it's like in the shape of a hill. But it's like not dimensional.
I find that really fascinating that there's a number of kids that meet up at a place in their minds that looks or resembles like a hill. I guarantee you, if all that is true, that the CIA is all over that. They probably have special programs where those remote viewers are probably going in and watching the kids and probably trying to communicate with them and all kinds of stuff. That's pretty crazy to think about. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. I want to make a quick apology for the content being kind of short and also not really uploading consistently. At the moment in this realm of content that I like, conspiracy theories, cryptids, or mind-opening type of content, it's just really dry right now because there's so much political talk going on. And I mean, that's content in itself, and I do watch some of it, but I don't like adding that kind of stuff on my channel, and I personally don't even really like watching it all that much. So if you were wondering why I haven't been uploading frequently or why my videos are shorter than normal, it's just simply because content in this realm of things that I like to watch are just not playing out as much. And I personally don't like using old content that I've already seen before, so I'm just uploading when I find good content. I do want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching these clips with me, and with that being said, have a good day.